The 50 Podcast.
50 Podcast.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the 50 Podcast. It's your host, Haley. And today we are here with Ashley. Ashley is a police officer serving for over a decade. She has a passion for saving the culture and helping fellow first responders. Ashley is an empowerment coach who's turned her past experiences into purpose. So for our listeners who don't know who you are, if you can, just give us a quick bio about yourself, and then we will peel back the layers and dive deeper on all the things we talked about above and more.
Sure. So again, I'm Ashley. I'm a law enforcement officer within the state of New York. I've been in law enforcement for over 12 years, and I also own my own small business called Pearl Grit Coaching, I'm an empowerment coach for first responders.
Amazing. Thank you for all you do. We need more people like you. So we're going to go over your foundation in law enforcement, family life, things like that. But something I like to ask all my guests who come on the show is just tell us about your family life and growing up. Where'd you grow up? How was it? Give us a little background.
So I grew up in a very small town where essentially everybody knows everybody, but they don't know everybody, if that makes sense. I grew up with a low-income family. My parents are absolutely fantastic. My father was in law enforcement. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. There was a lot of things like growing up that we just couldn't do or couldn't afford. And then moving forward, I was severely obese. So that made childhood for me a little bit more difficult than for others. I was constantly bullied. Going to school wasn't fun. But I did have a good childhood because of my parents.
So your dad was in law enforcement too. So was mine.
Yes. So he was a chief of police at one point, and then he had gone into court security, and that's where he retired from. But yeah, he kind of wore a bunch of different hats throughout his life. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I didn't grow up with money either. We don't get into this job to make money. Wait, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about your service as a police officer. What inspired you to become a police officer? Was it your dad or was it something completely different?
So if you ask my dad, he'll constantly say, like, I hope I didn't get you into this career. And he kind of says it like jokingly, but he also means it on a serious note too, because he doesn't want to be held responsible for all the damage that it does. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like, it's so good, but it's so toxic at the same time. And he obviously understands that. Um, but just watching him, and then I have a bunch of family members who are also corrections officers. So I actually initially wanted to become a probation officer. But at the time, you needed like a bachelor's degree. So I wasn't able to obtain that. I was actually the first person in my family to graduate from college with an associate's degree. But my career path just led me down peace officer school first, and then I got into policing. So I just always wanted to help people, and here I am still helping people. And I think that when you get down to the actual core of it, I was also trying to help myself too.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't agree more. I think that you're like a helper through and through. So this is like, I could see why you chose this career. And my dad's a police officer too, but it wasn't 100%, why I chose the career either. I feel like the career kind of chooses us in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So my next question, and it seems like you did a little bit, but did you get any pushback from family or friends when you chose this career?
In a sense of like my dad saying, I hope I didn't push you into it, or don't you want to become this, or that? Yes, but overall, they've been very supportive with my decisions. No one's ever told me that I couldn't do it. So that's always been helpful.
That's good. Yeah, I feel like my situation was pretty similar. It's like, okay, I want you to know what you're getting into, but I'm still proud of you for doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what units have you worked in, and what's been your favorite experience or role as a police officer in your 12 years so far? If you could even answer that. It's hard. It's hard.
So I've always worked for smaller agencies, so we don't have like all of the like investigator positions and all of these cool things. We only have like the basic shit. So I initially started off as a peace officer for a college, and within that department, I took a sergeant's test, became a sergeant. I was growing, but then another opportunity presented itself, and it was my career goal at the time was to become a university police officer. I don't know why that became my goal. Hindsight's 2020. Not the best decision for me, but it did get me through the police academy. I became that university police officer, and I absolutely fucking hated it. It was horrible. Very clicky. Um, and I just didn't fit in. So then I moved to street policing. And then through street policing, I think one of the greatest, at least certificates that I've obtained, is becoming an advanced child forensic interviewer. Being able to help children in that capacity, that made the role feel a lot more rewarding in nature. I don't get to practice that as much now, but I do get to still deal with children, so that's cool. um, so that's been a little bit of my law enforcement career in a really small nutshell.
That's really cool. A child forensic investigator interviewer. That's really, really cool. I've never met anyone that does that. And what do you do for that? Like, is it for like child like sex crimes, or is it for like trauma?
Now, it's for any crime that really involves children. You go to a school for it. The tests are labor intensive. Like you have to memorize a lot in order to pass the test.
Yeah.
And so that was just to become the child forensic interviewer, but then there was another course on top of it. I think the initial course is maybe a week, don't get me wrong. I've been certified for a while, so I don't really remember. Um, and then the advanced portion, I took that online because it was during like COVID times. And I think that was just a couple of days. But that just it gives you more tools and to interview children with. So
That's really cool. I know that's a hard anything with children in policing is hard, and it takes a special person to do something like that.
sure. And like you say, they are like abuse and sex crimes, you know what I mean? So some of the stuff that you hear, you're like, don't really like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's so rewarding because you know you're actually helping them for someone that literally cannot help themselves. So
Yeah, absolutely. So you talked about how you were overweight growing up. How did you like get in shape for the academy? Like was that your motivation to lose weight? Was it before the academy, after the academy? How did you do it? And what was like what was your motivation to get in shape to be a police officer?
So I had been obese for most of my life. I was in sports, I was active. Like there was literally no reason for me to be obese. But I went to college. I started to drop a little bit of weight, but I was still being bullied in college for my weight. So I think the motivation came from the fact that I just was sick of being picked on. Because I have a great personality, but everyone was just looking at the exterior rather than communicating with who I truly am. So that was the initial motivation. But then the determination came in when I knew I needed to lose weight in order to gain access to the careers and opportunities that I needed. Um, so I just stayed driven. For the Peace Officer Academy, that was only 13 weeks. And there was actually no PT in that. And I was so frustrated because I wanted to become like the best version of myself. And at that point, I had already lost 100 pounds. So at my highest, I was like 236 plus. And when I went into my first academy, I was probably like 150, but like the issue is you lose all this weight, you're still not strong. You're you're at a deficit. So, I was strong for me as a person, but I wasn't police academy strong, if that makes sense. So, moving forward, I was a peace officer for, gosh, 5, 6 years. Math is hard. So, um heard from that, um, I was went into the police academy. So with the police academy, I was initially like one of the worst persons for PT. I thought I was doing fantastic for myself. So when you have like the academy instructors like yelling at you, telling you that you're a piece of shit, you're not gonna make it, and I'm like, bitch, watch me. So what I had to do to keep up with everybody else is I had to work out twice a day, 5 days a week, while everyone else was just milking 1 PT session a day. Um, but that also earned me on graduation the most improved for physical fitness. So I am extremely proud of myself for that. But losing weight is so hard to begin with, and then trying to build that muscle so that way you can be on an even playing field with everybody else is a lot more difficult than someone who was just automatically fit, if that makes sense.
Losing that much weight is really hard, like really, really hard. I lost like 60 pounds, so I can kind of relate, but I mean, going from what you went from to 150 pounds, like you're living like a new life. Like you're like a new person. Like truly, the way, like you said, like the way people look at you and talk to you, it was probably like a whole new experience. And then you're starting a brand new job, new career. It's probably a whole lot at the same time.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in because then people start treating you differently. And then I was not used to receiving certain attention, so I attracted a lot of negative people into my life because I had let my guard down too much. Because I was receiving positive attention, and I'm like, "Oh, this is great." It wasn't great. So, it's a
I
lot.
can relate. Yeah, I can relate. So, how did becoming a police officer, losing a lot of weight, coming from a family of law enforcement, how does this shape you as a person today and an officer today? How did all of that shape who you are?
I developed like such a strong sense of resiliency, and I believe that going through the things that I've gone through, I believe that it's made me a very well-rounded individual to where I can also understand, and I'm also very empathic in nature, so I can truly understand what someone on the street is going through, or be at least sympathetic in nature if I haven't actually experienced what they are experiencing. But it's kept my heart open to put myself in their shoes so that way I can best help them from a caring perspective rather than just like laying down the law with a hammer. I'm more personable in nature due to all of those experiences.
Yeah, I think that's like the best kind of police officer. I feel like we don't like officers like that don't get as much credit. But probably not enough thank yous either, but the way you make people feel and the contact between police officer and civilian, when it's a good one, it makes a huge difference and it spreads like wildfire. Like it really makes an impact. Whereas, like you said, instead of just like coming in, laying down the law and asking, like, what do you need? What do you want? Um, Makes a huge difference. And honestly, you probably could leave with like, every call knowing that you were kind and you treated these people with respect.
Correct. And that's such a Because I think a lot of officers are so used to living in like this square box, like you have to do this, very regimented, or their personalities are just so type A and negative in nature that it's not always beneficial for the community that you're dealing with. And I've seen it happen too often. Like, I really truly wish that officers would just tap into who they are as a person rather than just who they are in the uniform, because I think it would just help them so much more.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Do you have any advice for females beginning this career?
It's fucked up. It's not fair. It really will never be fair, is what you have to understand, at least from my experience. Maybe
That's true.
it's not an even playing field at all. From day one, you are the underdog. No matter how smart you are, how charismatic. For me, I'm not very book smart. Like, I try, but I'm just average when it comes to book smart. But common sense smart, communication, like I got that shit on lock. But you will never be recognized for your strengths like men are. But what you have
100%.
like, what you have to understand though is that if you really want this career, you have to make that. I don't know what I want to try to say here, but you really just have to keep going. You gotta. It's not in even keep your head down. It's just stay determined, stay focused on your goal, your why, for why you're in it in the first place, because it's going to make the hard days a lot easier. But there are going to be a lot of hard days, and you really have to focus on your mental health to make sure that you can truly make it through and stay true to you.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You're like you said, I like what you said here, that you're not going to get recognized for being just a good, street smart, common sense, empathetic, nice police officer.
Yeah.
But we should, because people want to experience that with an officer more than anything else. But the person who's going to get recognized has the most arrests or whatever, but that's not who should always be recognized.
Sure. Until I played it off that there was an agency that I worked for. I had the most traffic stops, the most traffic tickets, the most arrests. Like, I had the most everything, and my leadership was still very sexist in nature. So it didn't matter what the fuck I did.
Yeah.
I still wasn't going to be acknowledged for what I was doing. So you have to be comfortable within yourself, know that what you're doing is right, because you're not always going to get that external validation. You need to have that internal validation for yourself.
Yeah, you're not doing this job for money. You're not doing this job for recognition. You're not doing this job for thank yous. You're not doing this job for really much, but to genuinely help people. And you got to, like you said, you got to know why you got into it, because there's going to be a lot of days that beat you down and you're going to be like, why am I doing this? Like, well, I can work from home and make more money. Like, what am I doing? But it's your why. That's the only way you're going to make it through.
Exactly.
So you're passionate about helping your community. You've been through a lot in your life, and now you help other first responders. So you're really passionate about empowering them, helping them with their grit, their resiliency. Why is that so important to you? And when did you decide that you were going to start helping other first responders in their journey?
So when I first started law enforcement, I never wanted the job to affect me. And that sounds so naive in nature, because no matter what, it's going to affect you in some manner. But I didn't want it to affect my personality trait. Like, I didn't want to become that salty dog, that arrogant bastard that you don't want to deal with. Like, I just wanted to remain me. But I noticed that when I was at a certain agency that I started to lose myself. So I needed to become my own hero. I started doing a lot of self-care practices, and then I gained a couple certifications. And that's when I realized that, okay, so I helped myself and this is working for me. I know that there's other first responders out there that need this stuff as well. And then I also had gone through bouts of severe depression and anxiety. So I needed to be my own hero. And I want to bring this on a platform to other first responders as well, so that way they can save themselves too.
I love that you said be your own hero, because it's like in this job, you're everybody else's hero and you can easily lose yourself.
1000%.
And it takes a really strong, kind, passionate person to not only want to help others, help yourself, and help other first responders. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
So, who's a good fit for your program?
Um, any first responder that just feels a little bit lost, or needs a little bit of guidance, or they know they can do better, but they don't know where to start. Um, it's one-on-one coaching, and then I'm working on packages for mindfulness as well. So it can be pretty much any first responder. And if I can't help you, I will link you to somebody else that can. But you have so much power within yourself, and you don't have to stay stuck, whether it be mentally, physically, or in your career path. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. You have the power, and I will just help to bring that out of you. So.
I love that. And what do you hope? I mean, you kind of said it, but let's say someone joins your program. What do you hope, like, one of their biggest takeaways is?
That they learn to love themselves a little bit more, because we care so much for others that we do lose ourselves. And we do start to lack that love and that passion, and that drive for life. So if they could just gain that, then my job would be done. So.
I love that. Oh my gosh, sorry, I was still on mute. I was still. So, is there anything else that you want to tell us about the program if someone's listening and wants to sign up to work with you?
Um, You can hop over to my website, progritcoaching.com. They can email me. My email address is on there. I do have social media accounts too to reach out on. If you're just looking to take a new step forward, and like I said, don't even know where to start. You just want to have an open conversation, just reach out. And I will be happy to help you.
Talk to someone like you, talk to someone that's been through it, and talk to someone that's still in it. It's like very important to have allies and positive people in this career with us, alongside of us, because like you said, so many people are disgruntled and let the job really take over like their mindset. So it's just as important to have someone that's literally working the same job as you and can tell you that you can do it and you can love yourself. And that's, I mean, what more can you ask for, truly? I mean, like, that's amazing. I love what you're doing.
I appreciate you.
I do.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just we just get lost, and it's good to find our way back to ourselves and our whys and the reason why we started in the first place. But we all have the opportunity to be our best selves. You just don't want that for yourself too.
yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. And it's easy to forget sometimes. We could get really lost in this world. So it's important. What goals do you have for the future? And what can we expect from you?
My biggest goal, my next goal, is to start writing a book.
I would love that.
Yeah, it's expensive process. So
It is very expensive.
this is blue collar work. I own a home by myself. I'm a dog mom. Like, the money does not come easy. So I'm trying to think about future things for me. But the next thing is going to be a book, and then I want to create a workbook as well, specific to first responders. I have a lot of things in my brain. It's just finding the funds and being able to push it out there to the public. Um, and then, like I said, I do want to make some actual packages to where people can just go online to my website and download something, um, in case they don't want a full one-on-one coaching session. Um, and then I would love to get out of fucking street policing. Like, I am over it. I've helped enough people. I've let my purpose on that side. And now I'm just looking to help others in a different mode and method. So that's kind of what I'm hoping my future brings, is a lot of success in different areas. So
Yeah, and I think that you're passionate about it, so you absolutely will. I know that I've looked into writing a book myself, and I'm like, I table that unless they win the lottery.
yeah.
But you got it. I'm watching you. I love your posts on Instagram and just who you are. And I love, like you said, and you said you're gonna maybe and put this into your program, but like your mindfulness and you're peaceful, your comfort. I love your like aura. You're you're just like a calming person, a great follow for females and males in law enforcement. What is your handle and where can people find you?
So Instagram is Warrior with Grace, and I do have a business page linked off of that for ProGrit Coaching. I started a TikTok, which is Warrior with Grace 2.0. And then April 1st, I just created my second business Facebook page. It's called ProGrit Coaching. You can either follow or just add me as a friend. And then I have my website as well, progritcoaching.com.
Perfect. Well, everyone, go give her a follow, check in with her. And if you need someone to talk to, help you love yourself more, become your own hero, give her a follow and connect with her. Thank you so much for being here and all you do for the law enforcement community. I can't thank you enough. Yeah, and go get some sleep. She worked till 3 a.m. this morning, so we're all in this together. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.